Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you a complete wrap of all the key stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Neeraj Shah filling in for Darshan Mehta for this week. Let's welcome in our guests on the show today. Joining us, Brijesh Singh of StockAxis, Kunal Rambhia of The Streets, and Raja Venkatraman of Chart Advice. And gentlemen, usually I start off Hot Money with Yash Upadhyay's chart on a particular stock, but because of the way the market has completely just come off, I think we need to just quickly first take a detour and look at what the market is telling us. Look at that fall. Nifty 50 is down 0.5%. And very, very volatile, by the way. The Sensex was just a minute ago, was down almost 0.8%, now about 0.5%. The Nifty Bank about 400 points lower in trade. Gentlemen, good morning, or rather good afternoon to all of you. Raja, very quick thoughts here, a bit of a rapid fire. What does the recent volatility suggest?
Yeah, the recent volatility is suggesting that at highs around 12,040 on the Nifty spot, which I'm tracking aggressively, that's where we're witnessing some profit booking. And the overall sentiment is still intact, and every dips towards 11,950 or 900 should be bought into, and that's what would be happening right now. And I'm pretty confident that the recent high around 12,050 can be exceeded.
It's very interesting because it's very, very choppy right now as well. I don't know how easy it is to give a call, but it's looking very, very choppy right now. What do your charts indicate?
So no, when I look at the Nifty chart, certainly it was forming a rising wedge kind of pattern, and honestly speaking, since morning we were a little bearish and we were cautious also. Right now the breakdown which has come through, it's clearly breaking the rising wedge on the lower side. I won't be surprised if the Nifty comes down to 11,700 in a day. Or
okay, you are bearish. Right. Raja is wanting to buy at those 11,900, 11,850 odd levels.
Yeah, the dip has already come. It's the Nifty spot has reached 840.
Okay, so that's interesting. Okay. We'll get in Brijesh's thoughts as well in just moments from now. But because the infrastructure space is very active, because of the stocks which have exposure to the Andhra Pradesh region are in focus, because news reports suggest that the new Chief Minister, Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy, has cancelled certain projects sanctioned by the previous government. What kind of impact does it have on a company like NCC? Let's get in Mr. Y.D. Murthy, Executive VP of Finance at the company. Remember, we were speaking to Mr. Murthy 3 days ago. And Mr. Murthy, good having you back. Tell us, you may not have received any kind of formal communication, but do your channel checks suggest that these cancellations have indeed happened?
You see, again, based on the newspaper reports, the orders given to us before 1st April and where the work has not commenced total to something like 6,000 crores. So they are likely under the threat of cancellation. But we have not received any communication from the government. And if that cancellation happens, we started the year with an order book of 41,000 crores. And assuming these orders are cancelled, the order book will come to 35,000 crores. And that is not likely to affect our operations in FY20 in a major way. And we are confident we will be able to achieve the turnovers in FY20 also.
Mr. Murthy, when we logged onto the website and tried and figure out, there were lots of conditions being attached to these cancellations, and it also spoke about only new orders being cancelled, the existing orders not being cancelled. Is that your sense as well?
No. The information that we have is all the orders given on or before 1st April 2019 and where the work has not commenced.
Okay.
Those orders are likely to be cancelled. And for us, the list of those orders comes to something like 6,000 crores.
6,000 crores. What would the scenario be for the industry at large? Because you know about your company, yes, but what would be the total quantum of orders, such orders which could get cancelled, Mr. Murthy?
I have no idea. We have to see that.
Okay.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, the other important thing is, in AP we are doing affordable housing projects under the government's Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. There is no threat to these orders. Execution is happening. Payments are also coming.
What could the reason for such cancellations be, Mr. Murthy? Any guess?
I do not know. It's difficult for us to comment on that.
Okay.
We have to ask the Chief Minister.
Okay. And would there be any other projects aside of these which could be under a bit of a question mark because there was some special ruling done by the previous government in order to award such contracts, etc. Maybe you don't win those maybe you had not won those projects, but they could be in the fray. Anything of that magnitude, Mr. Murthy, because this the market fears that this might just be opening of a can of worms. Some things happen now, some other things also might get cancelled, so on and so forth. Is there a worry like that?
No, we understand. Again, based on newspaper reports, some projects like the international airport at Bhogapuram, and then the Kadapa steel plant, and then Machilipatnam port, etc. are likely to be cancelled. But we are not there in any of those projects.
Okay. Yeah, one last question that has befuddled a lot of people and trying to get some sense here about the development that's happening in the capital as well, Mr. Murthy. Amravati, what kind of project execution, etc. might come in? The reason I asked this to you, sir, is because 4 days ago when we spoke, I remember you yourself saying that because of the new government and all coming in, there isn't quite as much clarity about what's the quantum of order flow that is coming, which is why you also mentioned that this was going to be a year of consolidation for you.
Yeah, that's right. See, Amaravati projects, none of our projects fall in that category as per the newspaper items. And as you know, the state government requires a new capital. And definitely, my understanding is they will take these projects forward for speedy execution. And many of these projects are given to well-known frontline companies like L&T, Shapurji and NCC. I don't think there is any threat of those projects.
Okay, my final question, sir, and that would be, what's the quantum of projects that you're doing which are dependent on or which are out of the budget of the state government versus projects that you're doing which are more from the NHAI and the national authorities or the central government projects?
In AP,
Sorry?
see, our order book is 41,000 crores. Now it is likely to become 35,000 crores.
Right.
Most of the orders are spread across 27, 28 states in the country.
Okay.
We are an all India company. We are doing projects like Airport Authority of India, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and also various IIT and IIM
Sure.
campuses, etc. So I am talking to the bouquet of the orders that we are having and we are handling at this point in time.
Which is very
In
large.
one state, instead we have some problem.
Huh.
We will address that problem. That will not affect our operations in a major way.
I agree, sir.
In FY20.
No, I agree completely. But I was just saying, out of the 35,000 crores orders, which you said your order book could be left with, what's the proportion of Andhra Pradesh orders versus the rest of India orders? What's the proportion?
Yeah, now out of these 35,000 crores, orders from AP will be something like 8 to 10,000 crores, assuming 6,000 is cancelled.
Oh,
And,
okay.
There is no threat of these orders, and particularly where the client is a government agency, that is central government agencies, you see they have got their budgets, they got their fund allocation, and when the work is done and bill is submitted, I don't think there is any difficulty in getting the payment.
Okay. We wish you all the best, Mr. Murthy. Thanks so much for taking the time out and being with us. Well, that's YD Murthy of NCC. Just to sum it up for people who are tuning in right now, 41,000 crores order book for NCC. They believe that if indeed the rules that they've heard about, which is projects which are not commenced and awarded before 1st April, if they are indeed cancelled, they will lose out 6,000 crores worth of projects. Another 10,000 crores of projects are from the state. The remaining 25,000 crores, if my math is right, are not from the state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and therefore run no risk. He of course believes that those 10,000 crores also run no risk. In all probability he might be right, but he believes that if indeed these conditions are put in, then NCC will lose 6,000 crores worth of contracts. No impact in FY20 for the company. The stock, however, down about 14% in trade. Quick thoughts out here, Brijesh. NCC, 30-second view.
It looked like more pain would be there. Somewhere around 90, around the support has been there. So if someone wants to play for an investment point of view, somewhere around 90 to 92, one can look at to buy with a stop loss of 84 and look for the target of 120. But the time frame would be somewhere around 6 to 7 months, not before that.
So maybe you're long, but selectively long and maybe at lower prices. Just keep in mind as we get in Yash, that the markets are very choppy. The Nifty Bank was down 1.5% when the NCC conversation started. It's now down about 1%. So very, very volatile what's happening in the markets currently. Maybe don't try and guess the market, second guess the market. Let's try and think about stocks. First, let's get in Yash Upadhyay, a quick chart on BEML. Yash, good morning. Good afternoon, rather.
Good afternoon, Neeraj. So, like you mentioned, BEML is the stock that we are talking about, and it has been in a clear uptrend for quite some time now. We saw a big rally after the election results came out. Post that, we saw some weak hands coming out at the mark of about 1,000 rupees. The RSI too has given a positive divergence on the longer term, that is the weekly charts. The yellow line over here, that is the 55-week exponential moving average. The stock has managed to take it out and is currently trading at close to about 985. The trend is supportive on the upside. Every time it has managed to move up, there have been some amount of clawback, but yet again it has managed to move in tandem with the RSI also going higher, forming higher tops, higher bottom formation. And with that, we expect, at least on the RSI as well as the multiple factors like the weekly exponential moving average being taken out, that the stock could go up from here on, is what the indicators are suggesting.
Okay, Yash, thanks so much for putting that into perspective. I won't be able to ask all three of you, but any one of you who tracks BEML closely and can comment on this?
Yeah, so we recommended this BEML on the show itself when it was trading at around 905. The only reason was that the trend was getting reversed. And yes, as of now, the trend is definitely intact. It's making higher top, higher bottom formation. Any dip towards say 950, 945 can be a great buying opportunity. I'm looking out for the stock to reach around 1150 mark.
Okay, Raja, you seem to differ?
Yeah, actually right now it's trading at a resistance around 1025. So it would be advisable for one to buy on a pullback, like he said. But then against the bullish momentum which we are seeing here, if you would like to take a short opportunity for a pullback towards the levels which you mentioned, one could do that. It's a good 2 to 3 day short opportunity which has been seen on the chart.
Yeah, and I think that's what the terminal is indicating as well. So do watch out for BEML. By the way, as we speak, the Nifty Bank has recouped some of the losses, so keep that at the back of your mind. But let's talk about individual charts. The first chart is, excuse me, is from Brijesh, and it is on Indian Bank. Brijesh, if I can request you to come here at the wall and tell us why is it that Indian Bank is a buy?
See, as we were looking at the BEML chart, so same thing has been there. This is a weekly chart. The stock had made the base formation somewhere around 205 to 210. So do the oscillator. So oscillators were being making, or the RSI was been making the higher lows formation. And after that, making in the base of 205 to 210, stock had moved up and had made a base, had made the higher lows formation. So which is giving a bullish view. So present rate somewhere around 270, if I'm not mistaken, the stock has been quoting
275.
Yeah, so 270 to 275, one can take a buy call in it with a strict stop loss of 250, that is the previous swing low, and look for the target of 310 to 315. This 315 is a trend line actually breakout. It has to be crossed. So my initial target would be 310 to 315. Anything closing basis above 315, stock has a chance of going all the way to the level of 340 to 345. Time frame to hold the counter would be 1 to 2 months.
Okay, 1 to 2 months, buy on dips, targets possibly about 15% higher or 20% higher from these levels. Okay.
Yeah.
Brijesh, thanks so much for that. Do you guys have view on Indian Bank?
Yeah, Indian Bank is one of the best moving PSU banks. Right now, it has been moving in a channel formation. And a move about 285 is what would set off this entire momentum here. The momentum indicators are good and it is positive, but right now it is halting at that particular level of around 280 to 282. End of day closing above it will really set the pace, and we could actually see the targets around even 320.
Okay. Kunal, let me welcome you out here for your chart and your stock. Again, a financial name, Canfin Homes. Why do you like it? Because, I mean, if I look at it, it's up for the third day already.
Right. So I'm just trying to look at the weekly chart formation first of all. Right from 2015 till now, the stock was clearly making higher top, higher bottom formation, and the rally continued till around 700 mark. From 700 mark, the stock started making lower top, lower bottom formation. Now just try and understand the formation here. If I connect the tops, which is made in the red line, and connect the bottom, which is made in the green line, it's forming the expanding wedge kind of formation. This entire downtrend was getting into consolidation in the sideways here. Now this particular formation is known as inverse head and shoulder formation, where we can see that the stock is making the four tops equal. And this, surprisingly, this particular point is exactly coming at the resistance line which is made in the red line. So if I look at the entire formation, the downtrend is somewhere in the sideways consolidation. If by any chance the stock manages to go about 365, this stock can be a clearly, this stock is poised for the new uptrend from this level itself.
What targets come in typically in such a scenario?
Right. So when I look at the inverse head and shoulder formation, the most important thing one needs to keep in mind is that the closing has to be above this neckline, which is placed at 365. So once it closes about 365, I expect the stock to reach 480, which is this particular gap zone here, and then probably next the 550 mark. And this target can be expected in next 2 quarters.
480 and 550. So positional buyout.
It's
here.
a positional.
If it closes above 365.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for that, Kunal. Brijesh, any thoughts here on Canfin Homes?
See, Canfin Home can be bought, but as what right now the charts are indicating me is that if we stretch somewhere around say 350 or below that, one can take a buy call with a stop loss of 325, and in my initial target would be somewhere around 400 to 405 band. If that thing has been crossed and if we are getting a closing above that, then the stock can move up to the level of 435. And I'm looking, chances are that stock might try to touch 400 level within a couple of months.
Okay. Raja, do you have a diverse thought?
Canfin Homes has been attempting to cross this 360 zone for almost 8 to 9 months. And now, like Kunal rightly pointed out, the pattern is set up very beautifully. And the momentum indicators are also suggesting that the move could be to the upside. But looking at the way the market has moved in the last few days, I would warrant a closing above 365. Then it could actually set the pace to 400 or even 425, 430.
Okay.
So that's the amount of target which is available based on the pattern breakout.
Okay, keep that in mind. So a bit of a consensus of sorts out here. Buy on dips maybe, or buy above a particular level. 365 is something that both our experts suggested could be a point to ponder. The next chart is a difficult stock. Raja, interesting you've chosen Bajaj Finance. Damned if you go long, damned if you go short. What's the rationale? What is it that you're suggesting people should do?
Yeah, this stock has been amongst the favorites for many traders. And looking at the way over the last few months, actually, this stock has been panning out. It has been a sideways consolidation. And now you can see here the development of long bullish candles, which definitely suggests that there is strong bullish momentum building up. Along with that, I have used the concept of the ADX. If you could just open it up, you'll be able to see it more clearly.
What is the ADX?
ADX DMI. ADX is this white line which talks about the strength of the trend. And this plus, this is the positive side direction, this is a negative direction. So positive direction is actually heading higher. So all this...
but the negative direction is going lower as well.
Yeah. So you are concerned about only the one which is moving above a certain point.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are certain readings. So above a certain level, if it begins to go up, then you have to consider this.
Okay.
If the red line were to go up above a certain level,
okay,
then you
got
consider
it.
it.
Okay.
So this denotes the strength, and this is the direction. So that's how it has to be read. And when you read this along with this, so there is a pennant formation here. So this is a pattern breakout. So it gives us a good momentum to the upside. And if Nifty were to cross about 12,050 on the spot, you could definitely see some potential strong movement in this count.
Well, let's wait and watch in the green today as well, and nearing 3,500 was up 2%. Well, fundamentally there was one NBFC that is sound. Currently it has to be Bajaj Finance. Interesting chart and a brave call as well, with the stock doing so well in the last few days, Raja. But thanks so much for giving us that call. Any thoughts here, Kunal?
So, when I look at the daily chart of Bajaj Finance, yes, it's forming, a flag pattern kind of formation. So, on the higher side, 3,350 and on the lower side, 3,300 can be the zone to watch out for. Otherwise, this stock is a clear trending stock. Every decline can be a buying opportunity unless it clearly makes a lower top, lower bottom formation.
Okay, I just want to bring up the Nifty chart here once before we move on to the next set of stocks. So if we can just get the Nifty on the wall out here, and the GIP of the Nifty would be an interesting thing to monitor. Yeah, even this chart is okay. Just look at the volatility that we have in the last few minutes. People trying to trade the index in the last few minutes would have gotten caught on the wrong foot a number of times. Just look at this pattern out here, the last 15 minutes that the show has been on. We've had a steep fall, a bit of a bounce, and then a very, very choppy time. And right now the index is trading absolutely flat. So people who would have even thought of taking a short call would have gotten stopped out on the other side as well, because after dipping to about 0.5%, the Nifty is back to almost breaking even. And the Nifty Bank, which was down 1.5%, is now down less than 0.5%. So it quite tells you about the kind of choppiness and volatility in the last few minutes of trade. Quite interesting, really, what's happening to the markets while we're talking about specific stocks. Anyways, the next set of stocks now, the first round of discussion is over. The second round of discussions, and Brijesh has a chart on Max Financial. Brijesh, can you come here and explain your chart?
See, if we talk about the Max Financial chart, the first thing is the stock still is been making, this is a daily chart. The stock is making the high lows formation, followed by the RSI. Even the RSI has been supporting. So price as well as the indicator oscillator both are supporting the bullish view. The trend line witness has been there. The stock is moving above it. But still, for a precaution point of view or a risk reward ratio point of view, if stock trades somewhere around 440 to 445 band, we can look out to buy the stock. And with that stop loss of 420, this is the line where one can look out to keep a stop loss of 420. And initial target which I am looking for would be somewhere around 495 to 495 to 500 band. This is that initial target. And even if we draw the Fibonacci extension somewhere around 1%, taking this low and this high and this low, somewhere around 1% or say 100% retracement value would be coming at somewhere around 440 or so 490 to 500 band.
Okay, Brijesh, thanks for that. It's a very strong stock in a space which is also fairly strong the last few days. Raja, if I can come to you, is Max, and you can differ of course, is Max the strongest insurance name, or a Bajaj Finance or HDFC, life insurance looks stronger?
HDFC Life would be a much preferred setup because the way it has been holding on, and along with its parent company also doing well. That's the stock where we patronize more by the traders and also the investors. So I find that to be a better setup.
Okay.
And coming back to Max Financial, the setup is also very good. And if you take a little bit larger period, there's a formation called as an ascending triangle which has been formed. So if the breakout were to emerge around above 462 to 465, you could actually see it riding all the way till 525. The momentum indicators are intact. It is only waiting for a confirmation above 462, above which the prices could really take off and be in line with his analysis.
Okay, Kunal, which insurance play do you like the most?
So, I'll go for Max Financial. Reason being, in May 2017, the stock made top of around 650. Right from that level, it came down to 350. And now it's in consolidation. Like what these two guys highlighted, 450 seems to be, 460 seems to be the good level, above which we can expect the stock to make a new uptrend, which can give us a best risk reward ratio compared to the previous stock. So I would go long on the counter once it crosses 460 mark.
Okay, keep in mind, fundamentally or valuation wise, Max might be way cheaper than what HDFC Life is. It's just that the HDFC brand name carries quite a bit of weight. Anyways, Kunal, if I can request you to come here and explain your second chart to us.
So now my second chart is again on ICICI Bank, and this particular chart is now a bearish chart. I'm going a little bearish on the counter. The reason being what? So I've converted this chart into log chart first of all. Log chart keeps the difference between the prices the same. And once we look at the longer term time frame charts, it's always advisable to go for a log chart. Right from top of 2008 till the bottom of 2009, look at this particular trend line which is getting formed. And this particular trend line is exactly reaching the same level itself. Now this particular chart is not actually log one. This seems to be the linear one. When I convert into log, this line is exactly coming at the top itself.
Okay.
When I look at the internal chart of it, right from this particular channel, you can see that every successful rally, next successive rally, is lower in magnitude compared to the previous, which defines this particular formation.
So you're saying that this is getting narrower.
Exactly. This is getting narrowed, which is known as a rising wedge formation. Today's particular fall, weekly, this is weekly chart. So including today's fall, this candle is getting formed, which is known as a piercing candle, which is a bearish candle near to the top itself. Overall setup seems to be very favorable for shorts. So I will prefer to go short on this counter right away, keeping the stop loss of 440 to 445, which is the top of this. And expect the counter to first reach this gap, which is 395, and below 395 expect probably 350 levels to come soon.
But you're comfortable going long on Indian Bank?
I'm comfortable going long on Indian Bank, provided those levels which we mentioned are taken out on the higher side. And at the same time, this particular chart is looking very weak.
Yeah, I'm just presuming that if the ICICI Bank stock is going to fall down so much, and there's no stock specific reason, it would mean that maybe the Nifty Bank too could have issues, in which case I don't know how an Indian bank will do well. But your point is well taken. Indian Bank is a conditional buy, keep that at the back of your mind, above 65.
65.
465. And ICICI Bank, he's ready to go short immediately. Keep that at the back of your mind. Raja, quick thoughts out here?
Overall, banking space, yes, it may be witnessing some profit booking, but I would be avoiding ICICI Bank for a buy right now, but I would definitely not go short.
Okay, you would not go short. Brijesh, what about you?
See, one can go for a short side at what my analyst has said. 440 around is a resistance, but looking at support 395 to 400 band is a support. So if that thing breaks, then we can see a massive sell-off to the level of say 350 to 360. Otherwise, if it doesn't break 395, then I think that would be a consolidation level from 395 to 440 zone. And if it consolidates, then another leg of rally would be on the higher side.
That will be interesting. And divergent views, and that's what's the beauty about markets and technicals as well. Completely divergent views on ICICI Bank from all three of our experts. Anyways, since we're talking about banks, and I think we've spoken about financials a lot in this show, but the next stock is also a financial name, and Raja is talking about HDFC Bank. Well, you're sticking to some high quality, high market cap financial names, Raja.
Yeah.
Long on Bajaj Finance and long on HDFC Bank.
Yes.
Why?
Because again, similar to Bajaj Finance, the stock has been consolidating. You can see here, this is called as a channel. So the channel was broken out in mid of May, and after the channel breakout happened, the stock has continued to retain the upper end of the channel. Okay, there was a brief dip, but if you can see here, there has been this trend line, and today's fall actually took support at the trend line, and it has rebounded. So overall prospects, HDFC Bank, as everyone is aware, it's also having a weightage on Bank Nifty. So the overall performance of this bank is being quite stellar, and the channel breakout plus this continuous support trend line which is acting. So overall prospects suggest that it could take it even further higher, and towards the region of around 2520 and 2590 in the next 7 to 10 trading sessions. So momentum indicator is also intact. At every dip towards the RSI 50 levels, the stock is once again rebounding, and so the overall prospects is very positive for this stock.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Raja. Kunal, tell me, you find ICICI Bank bearish. What about HDFC Bank?
So when I look at the HDFC Bank overall setup, the stock is making a new high. Certainly, yes, the breakouts are coming in. But if you want to play the trend, then wait for the reversal on the lower side to say 2350, where the risk reward for going long makes sense. I would wait for the counter to reach 2350 first, and then go long on the counter, so that I can have a better risk reward ratio on the long side.
Okay, Brijesh, you have a different view.
Same view.
Same view as Raja, same view as Kunal.
As Kunal, 2350, because your risk reward ratio would be in your favor. Hardly 150 point down would be your stop loss, and whether on the higher side, I'm looking stock touching somewhere around 2650 to 2700 in a 3 month or 4 month time frame.
Okay, great. Gentlemen, thank you. By the way, just before I take that break, need to mark the markets as well, and the volatility which has shot up in the session. I was just marking what the index has done. Look at India VIX today, and I think you will see some spike there, 4.5% higher. So some uptick in volatility in the session today. But the markets flattish, not quite what the last half an hour would suggest, but flattish in the session. Take a moment to thank all our three experts for joining in today on Hot Money Technicals. Thank you so much for being with us today. And with that, it's a wrap. Ask PQ is up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Live.